What's going on, everybody? It's Endless One Up. I hope you're doing well. What's on deck today? Boom! A bunch of crap, it looks like. No, we're going to check out The Beast Within. This is a game that I probably should have done a little video all around Halloween, but I lost the freaking chance. Okay, now that you've seen me almost have an aneurysm, let's get back to the game. What is this game? Is it Steam Deck verified? Let me answer all those questions for you now. The details. There's a little bit of yellow. You know what that means. It's playable. Do we care? No, we're still going to play it anyways. But at least you know now it's not fully green. It is playable. We're going to go ahead and hit back. So what is this? The beast inside is a unique, gripping twist on thriller and survival horror. Immerse in the story of a long-buried secrets, personal tragedies, and madness. Play as two protagonists bound by dark heritage. There you go. Solve riddles, experience real terror, and 3D scanned environments. That is fancy. Real 3D scanned environments. What the heck, man? That sounds pretty cool. Alright, you can see we already have the telemetry up in the corner there with the GPU, CPU, VRAM, battery, and frames per second. I don't know what the resolution is going to be out of the gate with this game, so we're going to have to jump into those settings and check it out. Let's get me off the screen so we can see what we're doing here. Wonder if that's the fun company that did the changes. Oh, so we're on 1280 right now. Interesting. So I'm going to turn off blur. We don't want blur on. And then maximum FPS. I'm just going to turn it up because why not? Vegetation, I'm going to turn on medium. VSync, we're going to turn off. We're going to leave all this stuff on high. So it's interesting. If you see, the Steam Deck is actually an 8:5 ratio. And if you see underneath this one, there's a 1920 by 1200. I guess that's really what the Steam Deck would be and not a 1920 by 1080. That's interesting. It's interesting that this game is showing us all these different raster sizes, where lots of other games will not give you all those raster sizes. Kudos to them for including them all in the options, because you do have to include these. Very interesting. So we're going to leave it at the default for now, because I don't really want to change that, but we turned off blur, we made the maximum FPS go up, and we turned off VSync, and we're at the standard Steam Deck resolution. So let's go ahead and apply those settings and get into the game. Alright, so we're at 1280 by 800, and we're getting 3227 frames per second. Is there a run button? What if we run through the water? Can I run into the water? Doesn't do anything. Alright, well, so we're getting about 27 to 35 frames per second roughly here. Let's bump it up to 1920 by 1080. So the game definitely took a big frame hit there by going to 1920 by 1080. I don't suggest you play this game on higher resolutions. I think this game is too taxing. But good news, I think we can kind of fix a lot of that. So it says now we're getting about 45. I mean, that's 45 to 47. That was better than our 37 that we were getting, right? But I don't know. Do you think... Let's go for one final... We're going to take the vegetation and... Just going to put everything on low here. Effects have to stay on medium. Post-processing needs to stay on medium, and shadows on low. Alright, there we go. So let's apply those settings. And you can see right in the options, now we're at 50. We've only gained like a little very tiny little bit bump. So what we could possibly do is try to... I wonder if we can get FSR to help us out here. So we turn on FSR globally. And come in here. Oh, I have a frame rate limiter on. You always check that. Come in here, turn on FSR. And then I think we should come up into the settings here and change the resolution scale to 75%, and then come down here, apply settings. Looks like we got a 5-frame bump roughly there. Well, I saw 60 for a second. We could try to lower this even more. Let's see what this does now. Look, we're playing Minecraft now. So we are almost at 60 frames per second, but the game looks like absolute poop now compared to what we had it before. So if you want, oh, we're getting 80 frames per second. Look at that. Wow, we had a big old jump there for a second. I mean, it looks like junk. No, this is horrible. Don't ever play this game like that. Like, ruins everything. All right, let's go back over here. We're going to bump this back up to 100. We're going to change this to 1920 by 1080. Let's go down here. Oh, I didn't apply that. It didn't take hold. Alright, resolution scale we're going to set to 100 again, and then we're going to change this resolution to 1920 by 1080. And then come down here, apply those settings. Jump back into the game. I mean, we're getting like 30, 27 frames per second. This is no different than when we first jumped into the game, really. I don't know. This one, if you want to play this game and get 60 frames per second, it's not going to look very good, sadly. But that's just what happens when you have a graphically intense game. I mean, this game did 3D scan all of its environments. That's pretty impressive. And I think you could probably bump down the resolution now that we're like in 1920 by 1080. I bet you if we went to the resolution scale and went to 75, we get a nice little frame bump here without probably losing a lot of quality. Because now that we've done all this, we're kind of understanding it better. You know, we almost got like a 10 frame bump there by doing that. And then FSR is turned on. The monitor it's going out to can do 2560 by 1440. There's actually a bunch of complication here, so let's bring me up full screen. So this was actually a very technical one, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. Nobody's actually even talked about this, but I feel like it needs to be talked about. So, the Steam Deck itself has a 1280 by 720 or 1280 by 800, depending on how you want to look at it, raster size. Now, you can plug that into a television and you can change that raster the whole way up to a 4K. You've seen it on my videos. The strange thing about this, though, is if you turn on FSR and you have the game set to a lower resolution, it's going out to a higher resolution. You should be able to, like, essentially do the math that renders it at that lower resolution and then displays it at the higher resolution. There's even more layers to all this. So in OBS, depending on what device I use, I can capture up to 4K, and then I have monitors that also can either display at 4K or display at 1440p or display at 1080p. So that device will capture a 4K video signal. I don't even need to see it. I can just capture the digital data. So I can capture everything at 4K, but I don't edit in 4K. So I capture it 2560 by 1440, and then I edit it 1920 by 1080. And in the Steam Deck, when I capture anything that's 4K or 2560 or by 1440, it digitally is that resolution because the capture device can capture those resolutions. It's essentially, it makes like a generic or a fake like monitor that can do all those resolutions, so I can capture it at all those different resolutions. Now, the whole confusing part of this is I capture from a Steam Deck. It's traditionally 720p. I'm capturing it at 1440p. I'm putting it into an editing application that's 1080p. Everything is 60 frames per second. That's what I try to... I record and I do everything at 60 frames per second. I edit in 60 frames per second. The only thing that changes throughout this is the resolution of the images. And there's a lot to that. And you want to try to not degrade that a lot. So in a lot of this testing and when I record all these things, I hope that the quality is good for you. I know that, like, what I'm doing, like, I will say I do know what I'm doing when it comes to capturing video signals. But I hope these videos are good. I hope you like them. Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate everybody, and thanks a lot for watching. Peace.